Hello, everybody. We have another video out for you today on YouTube about the man on screen right now, Julian Assange, and some good news and some really, really bad news to do with him. The first one, I'm just really happy for both of these people. Julian Assange set to be married to Stella Morris on March 23, which is a week away, I think. Um, in Belmarsh Prison. It's a negative, but we'll go on. The WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will get married in Belmarsh Prison on 23 March with just 4 guests allowed to attend. Vivienne Westwood is designing a wedding dress for the 50-year-old's fiancée, the lawyer Stella Morris, and a kilt for Assange, whose parents have links to Scotland. The designer has been a staunch supporter of Assange. Good on her. Morris, who met Assange when he was living in London Ecuadorian embassy seeking political asylum, will marry the WikiLeaks founder in the high security jail nearly 3 years after his arrest. The couple have 2 children. I think it was April 10th that he was arrested in 2019, because it was my birthday. So, the date I remember. I'm just really happy for both of them. Assange has been through so much. The Johnson government has tried to stop this from happening. I'll see if the Guardian talk about that. They do not, but yeah. Dominic Raab, who's in charge of this. What the fuck is that advert, by the way? The Guardian is trying to advertise women's lingerie to me. So sorry. Oh, stop it. Wait. Yeah, so Dominic Raab has tried to deny this over many years. And then it seems he's finally given in. I'm just really happy for Assange because the next story is some much, much worse news for the man. So the fact he's getting something small is good. Something bad. Julian Assange denied US extradition appeal by UK's top court. The WikiLeaks founders case is now expected to be formally sent to the British Home Secretary Priti Patel for approval. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has been denied permission to appeal to the UK Supreme Court against moves to extradite him to the United States, where he could face a lifetime in prison, if not execution. I would add to that. The application has been refused by the Supreme Court, and the reason given is that the application did not raise an arguable point of law. Washington wants to put the 50-year-old on trial in connection with the publication of 500,000 secret military files relating to the US-led wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The ruling brings the long-running legal saga in the UK courts closer to a conclusion. A British district court judge had initially rejected a US extradition request on the grounds that Assange was likely to kill himself if held under US prison conditions. US authorities later provided assurances that the WikiLeaks founder would not face the severe treatment that his lawyers said would put his physical and mental health at risk. In December, the High Court overturned the lower court's decision, saying that the US promises were enough to guarantee that Assange would be treated humanely. Bullshit. The case is now expected to be formally sent to the British Home Secretary Priti Patel for approval, after which Assange can try to challenge the decision by judicial review. A judicial review involves a judge examining the legitimacy of the public body's decision. WikiLeaks wrote on its Twitter account, the case now moves forward to Priti Patel to authorize the extradition. It's extremely disappointing, obviously. Yada, yada, yada. He will almost certainly be given life in prison. He has been held on remand. He was held for jumping bail on a previous case accusing him of sexual assault. A case with no evidence, and the accuser has ties to the FBI and shit. So I'm not believing a word that she says. I've got nothing but respect for every nothing but sorrow for every real victim of sexual harassment, assault, and rape. But I don't think she's one. And it's not because I have some kind of refusal to admit that Assange would do something. It's just that she has connections to the people who hate him the most. And why do they hate him the most, you might ask? Here we go here. BBC in 2010. WikiLeaks Iraq War logs reveal truth about conflict. To understand this fully, you need to understand the military-industrial complex in the US and the fact that these organizations, the CIA, the Pentagon, and to some extent the FBI, even though they are a domestic organization, they really, really want war beyond anything else. War for them is their business. They love a war. Assange caused the biggest problem for a war that they've had pretty much since 2003. That being him doing journalism. He was given a leak by Chelsea Manning, by some others, and he published it. That's not like some kind of treacherous, evil behavior. That's what the New York Times does every single day. It's just that when the New York Times does it, doesn't tend to be too devastating for the US and the UK. Hillary Clinton and the UK's Ministry of Defence suggested in 2010 the disclosures put lives at risk. I can promise you this: if there was one military person who was killed as a result of this, we would know their names. We would have seen their faces. It would be the number one thing that they say. Bob Smith was killed because of Julian Assange. There's no Bob Smith. For 12 years now, it's been a theory that Julian Assange caused someone to be killed. He didn't. He did journalism. All he did was say, hey guys, here are some war crimes that the US and UK have committed. You know, good to know. And now he's being tried as some kind of evil mastermind. And then the other main thing he did, other than that, was the revelations from the WikiLeaks hacked Clinton emails in 2016. Someone hacked into the DNC server, got the emails and gave them to WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks then published them. So these are just some of the things that we found out from here. Doug Band, a longtime aide to Bill Clinton, described using his consulting firm to raise money for the Clinton Global Initiative, as well as direct personal income for the former president. One client, Coca-Cola, received a face-to-face meeting with the former president at his home in 2009 after contributing millions to the non-profit foundation. This is money that was directly given to the Clintons by a donor, presumably for less regulation and shit. That's corruption. If it's any other country, if it's Russia, we point that out and say, hold up, that is so corrupt, it's unbelievable. But in the West, we don't sort of look at our own corruption as corruption. We just sort of think, it is what it is. It's how politics works. John Podesta, who later became Hillary's campaign chairman, emailed Neera Tanden, who Biden wanted to give some kind of cabinet role. I can't remember what it was. She said that he basically said that Tanden said that almost no one knows better than me that her instincts can be terrible. That Clinton's instincts can be terrible, and they are terrible. That's like the one thing Neera Tanden's got right in her life. Again, that's just showing that they're wrong. Obama knew about this private thing, about the private email server, whatever. Morocco quid pro quo. Basically, there was a 12 million donation made by the King of Morocco to the Clinton Foundation if she attended the summit. That's corruption again. He received them calling Bernie Sanders, who, I've been a bit disappointed by during the Biden administration, saying that he is a doofus. Do you believe that doofus Bernie attacks the Paris climate change agreement? I don't know what his criticisms were, but I'm guarantee it's like, hold up, this is so inadequate. It's not like he's like Trump, who was like, I don't believe that this climate change thing is real. This is a Bernie Sanders coming out and saying this does not go anywhere near far enough, and the Clintons don't like that. Don't like that. It suggested Bill Gates, billionaire, who's stolen billions from poor people, suggested it as her VP. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in there. Covert Suriname. Oh yeah, so she spoke to Goldman Sachs, basically saying, "Hey, I know you guys are giving me money, like $225,000. Um, and in that speech, she said she would like to intervene in Syria. She would like to do war in Syria, which they then did. Ring China. The US would be putting up missile defenses in the North Korean region and the Korean region. Again, said in that Goldman Sachs conference, some kind of Catholicism. Another Wall Street speech that she gave, and this is probably one of my absolute favorites. Clinton was fed a question for one of the debates. Donna Brazil, the former CNN contributor, notified the Clinton campaign in advance of a question she would be asked at a town hall style event hosted by the cable network in March, according to the leaked emails. From time to time, I get questions in advance, Ms. Brazil, now chair of the DNC, wrote in a subject line of a 12 March email to the Clinton aides. She went on to paste the text of a question about the death penalty that Mr. Clinton would be asked. The question, with very similar wording, ended up being posed to the White House hopeful at the event. Hours after WikiLeaks broke the news of the alleged collaboration, Ms. Brazil wrote in a statement, I never had access to questions and would never have shared them with the candidates if I did. The leak demo also caused embarrassment for CNN, which Donald Trump has mockingly referred to as the Clinton News Network. Ms. Brazil took over at the DNC when its former chair, Demi Wasserman Schultz, left over hacked emails which revealed the party establishment's favoritism towards Mrs. Clinton. They rigged the election for the Clintons. And, by the way, for Trump, I don't know if it'll mention here. I'm just going to skip through all of this. All of it's important, but I'm just going to skip through. But one of the other things is that Clinton emailed some of her aides, and they then pushed it out in the media. We need Trump to be a Pied Piper candidate because he's the one we think we can beat. So push Trump, try to make him like the favorite. Push him as much as you can, which CNN and MSNBC then did as much as they could. They showed hours upon hours of Trump rallies just for free, like free advertising, effectively. And it was crazy. How CNN and MSNBC just seemed to be propping up Trump, which they were because Clinton thought she could beat him. That went well. There's so much in here, and this is one of the major reasons why Democrats hate Assange, is because he revealed this, and they're like, "Oh, he got Trump elected." No, Hillary Clinton is the one who's in the wrong here. It's not the journalist who revealed it; it's the Clintons who did some really fucked up things here. Don't blame the journalist for reporting on the shit that the people he's reporting about did. I think that's all I've got to say on this. It's amazing that he's actually probably going to be extradited to the US, because there's no way that Priti Patel doesn't extradite him. Sorry. I'm glad he got married. I'm glad he's getting married. Okay. Thank you all for listening. Please subscribe. Please like. Please share. Please subscribe on Substack, hacksmith.substack.com. And adios.